What's up, mad humans? It's Rezzy with you on this Friday and back in the swing of things behind the mic and here at Eterna HQ after a nice week off up in the mountains. Boy, we've got a solid episode for you today. We're talking about OpenAI's new agent mode that dropped a week ago. I've got a full interview with the voice AI legend, Jannis Moore. Very cool stuff there. And then I'm going to walk you through 5 of the most fun, interesting, creative, and genuinely useful things that you can do with agent mode this weekend. It's a huge step forward. And because of the early adoption of ChatGPT and it widely being recognized as the most used AI platform out there, it means that this is going to be a ton of people's first experience with an agentic AI, something that can actually go out and perform tasks for you on a browser. Now, there have been models like this that have been getting some notoriety in the past couple of months, like Manus. I've used that tool as well. Great. And it does actually do most of what it says it's going to do. But I've been messing with the agent mode on ChatGPT now all week. And it's pretty awesome. So this episode is about experimentation, no hype, just 5 things that anyone can try, even if you've never worked with an agent before in the past or built an agent or had one built for you. So it's literally no longer a sandbox for you. It is a playground. So get your shovel and your bucket. It's time for MADHUMAN. All right, in the headlines roundup, we're going to just do 2 quick stories and then get into the interview with Jannis Moore. And I, of course, have to talk about the main headline and the main point of this episode, which it became over the week very evident that we were going to lean heavily into as I was using this agent tool quite a lot. So OpenAI rolled out the agent mode last week. If you had GPT Plus or Pro or Enterprise, it was likely that you got early access. They are basically rolling it out to everyone now, and you have access to a persistent task-driven agent now. And the irony is that I am simultaneously excited as I am a little bit bummed that OpenAI decided to make this move, as I was near beta production on our super agent platform, Atlas. And we've kind of seen this a lot in the past 6 months or even the past year, where a large player in the AI space rolls over several different startups just by incorporating their features or capabilities into their native platform. So ultimately, it is okay because we also have projects that could benefit from this API once made available, like buyboringbusiness.com or Spark, our spontaneous activities near you app that we're developing. And there are others in the works. So no hard feelings. The great thing is that more exposure to agents like this gets people more acclimated to the products and services that we provide here. It's pretty cool all around. And, these agents can hold memory. They can chain logic steps. They can call APIs. They can call tools. And they can even schedule tasks. So it's basically like Zapier or Make.com meets a GPT. So think daily reports, income summaries, CRM follow-ups, all without even touching your keyboard. Pretty awesome stuff. Headline number 2, TikTok launches Gen Ad Producer. This is a part of TikTok leaning into AI, and they are giving you a short prompt window that spits out 3 short-form ads, videos, music, captions, visuals, targeting advice, etc. It's kind of like having a mini ad agency for TikTok within a prompt box. So it's great for speed and probably a nightmare for anyone who's trying to stand out in the TikTok feed as an advertiser, because now we're kind of getting into that weird dead internet theory and truly having bots advertising to bots and bots talking to bots, interacting with bots. It's getting a little crazy. So today's guest is a voice pioneer at the intersection of empathy, engineering, and impact. He's the founder of Integraticus, the agency that's turning hard to use voice tech into intuitive human-first agents that start conversations and not scripts. And they often generate real revenue for his clients. He's trained over 2,000 founders through his free AI bootcamp, building community instead of walls around AI tech. And he's built an open sourced telephone LM frameworks, helped shape creator first tools like Vappy, and freely shared the behind the scenes of building an agency in real time. And on Christmas morning, Jannis actually once drove through snow covered roads for hours just to spend time with his dog. And in that quiet somewhere between exhaustion and clarity, he realized that this work isn't just about scaling tech, it's about reclaiming space for the things that matter. That moment shaped his compass for how to build and how to live. And just so you know, this isn't just AI tech theater. This is two humans on a mission to keep AI soulful and perhaps more human. Jannis Moore, welcome to Mad Human. How are you?
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me. I'm pretty good. Stoked for that intro. It was a very interesting one. I love that you picked out the whole dog scenario. So I
Yeah,
didn't even share that too often in publicly online. It's usually just, when you share things online about yourself, everyone has a different perception and sees things different, comes from different backgrounds. So that was a very personal one that I shared on LinkedIn, which apparently did fairly well. So I'm happy you saw that and you actually understood that. It means a lot.
it struck a chord with me for sure, and I'm sure it did with your audience. I think when we're working in this space that seems so overwhelmingly tech, seeing
Yeah.
the human side of people is really special and important. So yeah, it was a very cool post. When did you like first realize like the power of voice, not as like a tech feature, but as like something that moved you in your life?
Good question. I think it was like literally right when we had the first interactions with it. Around the end of 2023, there was the first couple of tools that went into the space. And I think the first one we've ever seen was Air AI. Back then, they had some really cool licensing model that you could use to basically make those phone calls. And when I heard the first time that you can actually have an AI on the phone that talks like a human and sounds like a human, I was like, whoa, okay, that has something to it. So I just back then I didn't know necessarily what to do for a few reasons. One of them is because I exited my company prior to that. So like 3 months before I figured out about voice AI, I exited my company and then was like, yeah, what am I gonna do now with my life? So I decided to educate people on YouTube about all the things that I learned in the automation space, etc. And yeah, just basically stayed on top, right? And voice AI came exactly at the same time, so I decided to make some videos about it, and people really resonated with it. They saw the same kind of potential that I saw, and it just gave me the confirmation and the validation I needed to say, okay, yeah, this is something I actually want to double down on because it is really cool. And given now 1.5 years in, after doing this successfully, it was worth it already. So I think from here it just keeps accelerating.
I agree. Yeah. And you built the platform that literally trains like thousands of people that are getting into this space. But if we like zoom way out, like what are you actually trying to say with this work?
Well, it's obviously staying on top of the whole game. Everything is changing quite rapidly. And yeah, this is one of the things that scares most people because they don't know what to do in the first place. And now with this whole overload of AI information, I basically just took part of that in my own hand and say, okay, this is something I wanna teach someone, and because I know it's proven, and I know it contributes to the greater good, which is anyways the main incentive why I do all of this is basically just enable freedom. That's how I call it. And freedom might be on a business scale, but might also be on a personal scale. Right? We have people in our community that they came from a corporate job, they started their own voice AI agency or started incorporating services, voice related services into their business, and can basically now make more money and work from literally anywhere. Yeah, exactly. You're like
I'm one
a
of them.
living proof of that. So
Yeah.
that's just a really cool thing, and that was always one of my main missions, allowing people to work from anywhere, be basically their own boss, and can decide for themselves what they want to do and what they want to work on.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That did like resonate with me early when Air AI came out and I started to realize like, oh, like all of these roles that I had previously fulfilled as a business owner, with someone that just basically sat around and needed to answer a phone, that was going to go away, and even in, the context of like call centers and paying exorbitant amounts of money, in corporate positions and marketing director positions for these call centers, that all changed like in an instant when I started seeing how effective it was. So yeah. You made the choice though to teach like publicly and out in the open to people, and I'm always interested with people that kind of enter that arena. Was that always the plan, or did that just kind of happen? Was it something that personally pushed you into the public sphere?
Yeah, very, very good question. I think I'll start even a bit earlier. The first software company that I started, I had no clue how to market things. And to be fair, I built and exited the company without ever taking a single sales call. And we scaled this thing to like 20,000 active members. So all of this is literally just a result of me being very introverted and not wanting to talk to people. And I somehow managed to find a way doing that. And that worked out pretty well. But then I was like, now I had this company, I exited. What am I going to do now? And I was like, okay, yeah, let's just share what I know best online. So my main incentive since the beginning, or since basically I sold it, was build up authority, build authority about the things I learned. I mean, if you see it that way, I built a competitor to Zapier or Make.com, right? I know in the core how those platforms work, what they do, and this knowledge is just incredibly valuable, especially if it comes to like workflows in general and how they're built and why they become super powerful. And I was just out there just trying to educate people, but then apparently people started hitting me up, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's just see if we can help them. And in some way that just brought us to build up this agency where we literally just serve clients with building out voice AI projects for their business or for their specific needs. And that worked out pretty well. We had, I think our biggest month was around 70,000 a month. It was a pretty solid one. But then I realized, yeah, this is not for me. Like, I don't want to build up another agency. My main goal was always education, or like building up authority and just passing that on. So I decided to look into what other options I have. And that was basically when we started diving into this whole community thing. And it was very interesting because the whole framework and anything that you do basically changes like drastically. Usually, and because I know how to build software, I also know that if I would build up an agency, I'd find one specific use case that works really well. I just double down. I templatize the solution. I find more clients. I turned it into a SaaS. I exit it again. Kind of like the same procedure. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be just that authority. Yeah. And I had to change a lot of things. Like I'm personally, I brought on a partner, which I'm very, very thankful for. He's incredibly good on running communities and understanding that because he was a teacher before. I didn't have any of that knowledge. I mean, I was very introverted. So talking to people was still like a pretty weird thing at that point. And he literally just opened my eyes to how we can incorporate that. So another thing, partnering with people that are good at something, it's incredible. It's a game changer. But apart from that, I literally just try to find my strength and play with those, and literally just went deeper and deeper into YouTube, basically bringing more people and scaled on the agency on the other side. And we still have the agency until this day. We still have active clients, but it's nothing that we want to scale. And there's a purpose why we still have it. And there's also a purpose why we run the community now. And community is still our main priority because we now, like, we run it for 6 months, a bit more than 6 months. We have already people that are pretty successful now with building voice AI solutions. And like, I think in total now we closed already over $250,000 worth of client projects for our clients, which is really cool. So they already make a good living, I'd say. And that just was for me the proof, that I can literally just share my stuff and can help other people contribute towards what I believe is more important than the whole just 9-to-5 work schedule, being your own boss and being free, choosing on your own terms. And that was kind of like something that I just decided to pursue. And yeah, that in combination with the agency, we still have the agency to stay on top of everything. And that's something I probably also don't get rid of. But let me tell you, it's extremely exhausting because we don't want to double down on one specific solution, just build it out and like scale it again into a SaaS. We want to be general so we understand the market. So we take on different things from different industries. And you can imagine every time we do that, it's again something completely from scratch. You got to figure out everything. You got to scope out everything. You figure out the pain points. It's a hell of a work, but it has been paying off so far because the knowledge that we gain through that is the reason why I believe we are actually confident on teaching that to others, which in return hopefully is the way on how we can help them learn things that they could otherwise not learn themselves.
What do you think like separates meaningful innovation from just building cool stuff? And to go
I'd say
deeper,
there's meaning in anything, right?
let me like, because I think, we saw just less than a week ago, OpenAI released the agent mode. And while I think that the mass adoption of agents is still in its very early infancy, this is going to be something that will be widely, just due to their exposure and their early adopters, people's first interaction with like an agent. So I guess to reframe the question, what separates people thinking about that as just a cool like feature versus like something that is actually really meaningful and innovative?
It brings you back time, right? I think that's the biggest one. It brings you back the flexibility of choosing what you'd like to spend your time with. And I think that's probably one of the biggest game changers. And yeah, I mean, all of those things that are being released these days, I mean, there's tons of stuff coming out every single week. And yeah, we see stuff moving towards AI agents. But in the end, it's nothing else than, again, just saving us time and making us money on some other end and potentially reducing human error. It's like the big three that I always talk about. And I believe it's not necessarily what they can do, but what they can bring us, right? So I would always see it from that perspective. So meaning in building AI agents, if that is something like I love to build stuff, I can literally just sit there, and if I have more free time to build, I build stuff. So it's as simple as that. It's something I enjoy. And I think having this as the first principle is just a big game changer. And I think that's where all the meaning is.
When things do get quiet, I know you're on kind of like a wild like rocket ship here over the past 6 months, right? But you've been in situations like that before where your agency was scaling, and I'm sure it happened really fast. I'm interested to know, like, when the momentum slows down and things get quiet, what keeps you going?
I would say it's literally just accountability and dedication, right? Towards your higher goal. In the beginning, especially if you're very unclear and you try to find something new, everything seems super overwhelming, and pretty much every single thing that looks a little bit negative is a turn for majority of people to jump again on the next shiny thing. And that's one of the things that I learned the hard way too. I built so many software solutions that I've never ever publicized. It's like only a handful of them. And I just built them, I spent time on them, and I just neglected them. So at some point, it's so painful that you just learn everything. You say, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. I literally just push through. And I'd say that's probably one of the best things for me, to literally just keep going, which I wouldn't even say is like necessarily emotionally connected, because I just know that if you continue with something long enough, it's gonna be successful. There's so much proof out there if you just look at other businesses. I mean, I always have this cool example of, in Europe, there's a company that sells elephant poop online, and they make tons of money with this. They just see how to package that properly, and they find a proper use case for it. And you can literally just go there, you can type in the address of a person you don't like, and you can send them a package of elephant poop, and they make really a lot of money with this. And it's just one of my perfect things,
thing,
right?
like
Yeah, kind of, yeah, exactly.
I can't believe
And
that's
it's
like
sustainable and whatever.
yeah.
But
How is that not? I don't know what kind of regulations you have to go through to mail poop through the mail, but
that's
pretty
another
wild.
thing. But it works. So it's you can literally make money with poop. So it's just something you got to keep in mind. And I just think, as long as you keep going, you will find that specific use case or that specific angle that you can use to target a specific pain point or value towards whoever you basically sell something to.
That's interesting, because at my company at Eterna, like, we try to build things that keep that like humanity at the center of it. And I think that you have a really like unique knack for figuring out how to create voice agents that similarly act in a way that shows signs of empathy, even though there are machines being trained to speak like us, right? If we pulled back like all of that tech and all the tools, all the code, who is Jannis Moore, and who is he when no one's watching?
Yeah, good question. I generally just try to live the life on my terms in the ways that that satisfy me, right? And that is very, very individual. So it's something that I usually don't share often on YouTube. YouTube is for me more, like I mentioned, this authority machine where I can share my knowledge. Generally, I think the biggest thing that people see is that I'm a believer in freedom and liberty. So if you've seen my videos, you've probably seen that mostly every second or third video is in a different location. So I'm basically on the move. I'm not running away from anything, but I'm just on the move. I'll try to open my mind to different cultures. I try to see things from different angles. Try to make up my own mind, pretty much. Don't necessarily believe what you just read in the internet or what someone else tries to tell you. So yeah, just learning for myself on what's out there and becoming a better version through that, pretty much.
Nice. What does the future look like for you? Like, not just in AI and building tools, but for the humans that have to live alongside these tools, what does the future look like for you?
Jobs gonna shift, so I don't think we'll have the same type of jobs we have right now. I do think that there will be more people delegating things rather than executing themselves. There's gonna be strategists, and I do believe that at some point we're gonna have a lot of more services based with a premium of human-like interactions. I think that's probably one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, that was kind of like my next question was, I guess, what is it that you see as, I mean, this space is changing so quickly, it's hard to stay on any one trajectory. And I find that a struggle for myself as well, with, probably a more advanced shiny object syndrome than most people. And I think what I wanted to ask you was, if AI progresses at the rate that we've seen it this year into the next 2-3 years, decade, how long is that fuse before we have to make a dramatic change in the way that we work and live as humans?
It's very hard to say. I think there's at least yeah, I don't know about robotics. That might be a whole different thing. That's something I don't really spend much time with, but at least anything that is still or requires physical humans or physical work, it's gonna be around for quite a lot longer than anything that we do on the digital landscape. But yeah, I would give it a few years, and a majority of things are switching. So I still believe there's the need for making business, because in the end we're still human and we like to buy stuff. Just the question is like, from who are we buying and who are those people? So rather than us, for example, like in the beginning, or let's say 10 years ago, there was this whole thing about WordPress. Everyone wanted some websites. You could sell your WordPress websites like incredibly expensive. Nowadays, you use any kind of frameworks like Lovable, Bold.new to just generate them, and you have like a pretty awesome site right there. And so this became basically not that much of value anymore. And I think we just reached at some point the stage where it's gonna be more strategy. So because it enables less human to do a lot more, right? So I can say I can offer a whole service that literally helps you set up the business, form a new company, do the marketing, basically run a whole business on autopilot and just manage those things. So it just all turns into manager roles. And I just I didn't do enough research on figuring out how much of those potential roles could be there. But given of what I've seen with AI, I do believe that there's still going to be quite a lot of those roles that we're going to have. And that might be more of how can we increase the leverage with AI based on the already automated solutions that we are providing to others. And yeah, in the end, we're still human, and there's nothing that changes towards that, right? So there's always gonna be something that we need, and where we also need someone to, at least in some extent, monitor or maintain it. Yeah.
So beneath the surface, like, of all of these solutions, there is definitely like a human problem that we're trying to solve when we build. And my thought is this, I guess: do you see anything that scares you? Like, what's the thing that you see on the horizon that scares you the most about what we're building how we're implementing it, whether that be with, larger, enterprise organizations adopting it, or smaller businesses, or like you said, just solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. What's the one thing about AI that you see on the horizon that scares you the most?
Good question. I would say it's probably more like a centralized monopoly of governments trying to claim certain things, and the possibility of global observation, if you want to see it this way. This is probably, I think, the biggest one. I'm not really afraid about the jobs or the things we do. I think there's definitely going to be something around. But I think the whole observability thing, because you can basically be tracked to literally everything you do. And that is something I'm not a big fan of at all.
Likewise. All right, on a lighter note, we'll wrap this up in a couple of questions, but what is it that you feel that you need people to know about you that they might not see through your posts, your presence online, and in this community that you've built to help people kind of learn about this tech and develop it on their own?
Good question. I'd probably say to just trust my word that what we do actually works, because I see everyone out there having doubts, and it's actually hurting me seeing others just giving up on something because they literally just can't push through the simplest things. And it's actually sometimes ridiculous how simple those are. I mean, we have now a community. I think in the beginning you mentioned it's 2,000 people. We are now over 4,000 that are in this community, and we're growing. And you can imagine we have people from all around the world. And our main goal is obviously to keep them accountable, make sure that they can actually push through those harder times, especially in the beginning when everything feels like it's a fire and you don't know how to deal with everything. The problem is they often start dropping off after the smallest little thing. And you have to imagine that we spend our time we invest literally our time making sure that we can help people get forward. And that's one of the hardest things that we're currently still trying, like even until this day, trying to figure out how to solve in a free community. It doesn't work. It's as ridiculous as it sounds, but one of the only ways on how we can actually enforce someone to be accountable is by making them, by giving them something that hurts.
Yeah, you got to apply some kind of pressure, right? Like there has to be a stick to that carrot, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it needs to be not just one, but actually multiple, and that from different angles. So we are trying and playing around with different things and showing that we can push people through, but it's a real challenge. It's a really massive challenge because everyone, like even the same for me. I know at some points things feel down. You don't want to do anything. You start neglecting things, but you just gotta stay consistent. Pull yourself up again and just continue. That's the only way how business works. That's the only reason why I'm here where I'm right now, right?
Yeah, on that note, you started your entrepreneurial journey at a relatively younger age than most people, I feel like.
Yeah.
I won't go into any of the dirt I may have dug up on you, but is there anything that you want to share from like your early years as starting a business that, someone that inspired you, like what was the main like source of inspiration to just go on your own and to start?
It was actually just having one right connection. It's one person that tells you something completely ridiculous that is completely normal to them, but completely out of my own mind. When I grew up, I mean, I come from a super small town. Like our town is like, I think 800 to 1,000 people. It's super small, and there's not much opportunity. So everyone would live their daily 8 to 5 lifestyle. You take on a loan, you buy a house, you have kids, and then you die with everything that you have, and that's pretty much it. So there you can learn who got pregnant yesterday and not who made which amount of money or started which business tomorrow. And that is one of the hardest things to get out of if you have no connections. So now it's obviously a little bit easier because we have social media, and even though it's optimized towards whatever you look for, which can be also a bit detrimental, you often find people way easier that open your eyes towards what's actually possible. And I had the luck of meeting one person during my, let's say, like after teenage years, that told me they can make money online and that it's not even that hard. And that was while I was earning maybe like $300 a month. And when someone hits you with like, yeah, you can easily make 5 to 10K per month, even with like 18, 19, you sit there and you think like, whoa, okay, is that actually a thing? So you start digging and you start understanding. And that's basically what kept me awake and actually changed the whole perception towards what I can actually achieve. So yeah, I just took that opportunity back then and started learning programming by myself, figured out how to build websites, and then just started selling that as a service, first to smaller businesses and at some point to enterprises. And that's kind of like the angle that I took to dive into entrepreneurship.
As someone like from a small town like that, I wanted to probe a little deeper. Like, who was the person? Who was that connection?
It was just someone from our friends. It was someone that just saw that I maybe had potential. I'm not exactly sure about the incentives behind it, but he literally just said that like super duper casually. It was a very random, normal conversation from one of my friends, and that hooked me. That's literally all it took.
That's pretty cool. I think a lot of people like they have those inflection points, right? Those inflection points in your life where you didn't know what you didn't know, and it took someone to say, hey, like, stop looking over here and start looking this way, because this is where you belong.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. They just opening the perception. And it's very interesting because when you come from a small town, you also know that most other people would say feedback like that, not like a necessarily constructive feedback or anything even tailored towards that. They see it as an insult. Yeah. They would turn this whole thing around and see it from a perspective of, oh yeah, what I'm doing, is it not good enough? Is that not something you want? And it's terrible, you know. So I think this is a very easy validator, seeing whether or not someone is capable of questioning their own perception, pretty much.
Indeed. Well, I have a tradition that we're starting on this show, and is the random guest question. We have someone from the audience, we randomly pick a question, and we don't know what it is until I open it and read it during the interview. So we're going to do that right now and see what it is. Okay, this is actually kind of fun. Who is your favorite sports team, player, and why? It's like has nothing to do with the show, but just random question.
It might come as a surprise, but I would say there's actually none. And why? Because I'm not so much into sports at all. I literally just sit there and program shit all day.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that was pretty random for what we are talking about and who we're talking to. Bonus round, I guess, would be like, if there's one like part of your story that still shapes how you are today and how you show up for your clients and the people that you teach in your community, what would that be?
I think you need some bad experiences to grow. Probably as straightforward. If everything is butterflies and rainbows, you never get anywhere.
It's kind of fail forward, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just validate and understand things through not necessarily pain, but let's say uncomfort.
That's awesome. Well, I hope this interview was not uncomfortable for you.
Oh, I'm good. I like sharing.
I feel like I have gained so much more knowledge on who you are, and so I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate your time. And yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing. It's very inspiring, like for people like me that are in the space, and I'm sure for people that are looking to learn more and get more involved. Where can people find you?
Yeah, YouTube, pretty easy. Jannis Moore, and our school community, most likely Voice AI Bootcamp.
Awesome. All right, well, I'll put some links in the show notes for everyone that's watching. Really appreciate it, dude. It was great to meet you and learn more about you. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with next. And if you're ever in the neighborhood again, come on by and we'll talk again. Okay.
Will do. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers,
Appreciate
brother.
it.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Thank you again, Jannis, for that amazing interview and the bit about not being about what we create, but about what free time it gives us back in this brave new digital frontier. That really sticks with me, and I hope you guys really enjoyed that. Now, moving right along, speaking about agents in general, now we're going to do the Friday High Five substitute for this week. 5 amazing prompts and interesting things that you can do with ChatGPT's new agent mode. I have been so stoked on this all week. I just had to share it with you guys. So here are a couple of prompts that I have come up with that have been kind of working for me. Let's start with AI-powered lead generation from Google Maps. I will copy and paste this really quick, and I will show you how we use agent mode in here. If you haven't done it yet, it's really important that you go down to tools here and select agent mode before getting your prompt going in there. So for this particular prompt, we are looking at, you are a lead generation expert specializing in local businesses. Search Google Maps for the top 25 rated med spas in Denver. For each business, return the name, phone number, email, if available, website, and one improvement opportunity based on a quick scan of their Google reviews, slow responses, bad booking, user experience, etc. Then write a short, personalized cold email pitch. I'm liking the idea of hyper personalized cold email pitch, offering to help solve the problem with an AI or automation solution. Output in a Google Sheet plus email draft per lead. And when you see me speaking to my computer, I'm using an app called Whisper Flow. Look it up. It is awesome, but I typically don't type anymore. I've been speaking to my computer for the past 6 months, and my typing is pretty bad. So I'm not going to attempt to do that right now. I will just use Whisper Flow and tell ChatGPT agent to work fast on this, please. So I found that when I ask it to do a task quickly, it tends to give me better results. So that is our prompt for this agent. I have went ahead and got my other prompts built into these other tabs already. So the second prompt, you are a top tier CRO. Analyze the homepage of this website, eterna.ai, and identify the site's goal, book a demo, sell a product, etc. Current user flow from visit to conversion, 3 things to create friction, and 3 fast changes to increase sales or bookings. This is one that I actually have already run earlier in the week, but I want to show you guys how the results work in agent mode here. Something you're going to notice when we have these agents open, since they're all running together, you're going to see them open browser tabs. Set up a desktop just like a person would, and go search for what it is that you're asking them to do. If they need to grab references, websites, it's like having a digital person. So really, really cool stuff. And we've been in this space for months now, so it's not anything new to developers that have been working with AI and agentic AI. But because of the mass adoption of ChatGPT, this is going to be the first kind of user interface that people experience with agentic AI. And I just like that they keep it really native and really easy to use for people to just kind of step right into and start using. So while these agents are performing these 2 tasks, I have some other prompts in here. For our third prompt, you are my ghostwriter. Based on all the info that you already know about me, write a powerful new LinkedIn post that positions me as the thought leader in AI systems and agent integrations for small businesses. A 5-tweet thread that introduces my business, shares a quick win story or tip, and ends with a call to action to DM me. Keep it casual, human, and engaging. No bro marketing or corporate fluff. All right, once we get that one set up and going, I just love this. I love that you can run them all at the same time. It's like having a team of like PhD level employees at your fingertips for $20 a month. It's crazy, the value. Our next prompt. You are a startup ideas machine based on current trends, underserved niches, and niches and the latest product. Come up with 5 easy to start business ideas for someone with basic tech skills and under $5,000 to invest. For each idea, include the core product or service, target customer, monetization model, and one unfair advantage I could create using AI or automation. Make them unique, practical, and executable within 30 days. All right. And I'm going to put all these prompts in the show notes for you guys as well. So if you'd like to recreate these or maybe do your own remix, our last prompt is, you are my AI content engine. Okay. Create a weekly newsletter for my brand in AI systems and agent integrations for, or right there it is again, for small businesses with the following structure. Subject line, highly clickable, curiosity driven, intro paragraph, hook plus quick insider story. Main value section, we're going to do 3 bullet points here with insights, tools, or trending news, and then a call to action. Push to book a call, reply. I'll probably just like add my own link in there to the calendar on my website, but this gives it the general direction that I'm going in. Oops. And guess what I did? I took my prompt and I sent it to non-agent mode. So this is going to work for me as well, but I really would like to use agent mode for this. So what I'm going to do is back out of here, go to a new chat, and make sure in tools I select agent mode. Now it will set up a desktop and start performing as an agent for me while all these other ones are working as well. Oh, look at this. This one's already done. This was our ghostwriter. Okay. So it already had all this information about me, so I didn't have to do a lot of deep digging. It worked for 2 minutes. And here is my post. And is it something that I would write? I'm not sure, but I'm going to read through it and see. Okay, cool. You know what? Here's the coolest thing about this. I can click this off now and just work with a GPT-4o, or if I wanted to switch the model, I can do that as well. I typically will use 4o or O3, depending on the task. 4o has been kind of my go-to for just general tasks like this. O3 is more for like, it's a reasoning model, so obviously it's more for like collaborating with and getting ideas going. Since ChatGPT already knows so much about me, though, I kind of want this to be more in my voice. So we're going to instruct it to change a little bit of what it has done here. But the great thing about agent mode is it's gone out there on the web and it pulled all of these resources. You can see from salesforce.com, it has actual links in here, Forbes. These are all really useful when you're trying to construct something that looks real and valid and human on your social media feed and not just like a bot post like everything else out there. So this is pretty good, but knowing everything that you know about me already, please go through and refine this and produce something that's really, truly in my voice. We'll let that cook a little bit. Let's go back to these agents and see where they're at. Okay, so 4 minutes here. This was our CRO, right? So we're looking at how we can increase the conversion rate on the Eterna AI website. It's going to give me a ton of references here. The requirement that users have at least 20,000 straight. Oh, this is actually not the right website. So I'm going to correct it. You did your research on the wrong URL. This is the correct one. A little further instruction there for it. And it may just not be able to see the .ai URL. That's kind of a bummer. I was running into this earlier in the week too. I'm sure these are bugs that will get worked out, but yep, just doesn't seem to be able to pull it up. So, 4 out of 5 ain't bad on this, right? Maybe we just change it and look at doing some competitor research on another website. It's still working here on the lead generation. It's going through Google Maps. It tells you every step that it's going through. I love that. It's giving you actual feedback as to the process that it's performing and what it's thinking as it's going through these steps. It's like having a look inside, a research analyst's like brain as they're going through this directive that I've given them. Really cool. long story short, I guess we have somewhat knocked it out of the park for 3 of the tasks, I would say right now. Here's startup ideas. Okay, so this one only took 3 minutes. Wow. Amazing. I'm so going to dig into this and create a pitch deck. I'm sure that's also something that I can do through Agent. I've already seen that being done. Very, very cool stuff. Okay, so those are the ideas here. I don't want to take up too much time here at the end of the ep, but I do think that it's really important to get your feet wet and break the ice with these features as they come out. You're going to have a competitive advantage over people that do not. And I'm here for you to, make sure you keep it real on the digital frontier, but also, approach these things with curiosity and imagination and creativity. The sky is the limit. And, when we're talking about AI, I think what often gets lost in the sauce is how it does improve the human condition and improve our lives and make things easier for us. It's not something to be terrified of or think it's coming for your job or going to take your job. Instead, we should pivot towards how do we enhance our abilities as a single, solo entrepreneur or somebody that's working in an enterprise that just wants to make their life easier. And, I think that's really where I come from on like a human level with this tech. I want to make sure that I'm not just copy and pasting, but I'm giving a lot of feedback and I'm having an interaction with it to get the desired effect and result. With that in mind, again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend if you will. It's a little bit of a social contract. I'm going through the time and effort to give you guys this information and keep you up to date on all of the latest and most important news in the world of AI. And in return, you guys give me a like, a share, a comment. Let me know how we're doing as we continue down this road into the super unknown. I'm your host, Atanasio Anthony Juarez, aka Rezzy. You've been watching Mad Human, and as always, thank you for your time this time. Until next time, cheers.